Okay, so I am working on the Saitama model, Saitama bedroom model, keep going with it. I made a couple of props here. Let me just show you real quick. So I made this like little cup with green tea in it. I made this other cup with green tea in it. And I've just been slowly kind of going around, adding like cables and stuff to all the models. This little wiper thing, I just made the texture in Photoshop using generative fill. And the next thing I was gonna make was these, let me see if I can find it. These bottles right here, gift bottles or something. So it looks like it's two like wine bottle shapes next to each other and a box around it with a handle. So I thought that I would just make a quick video making that and kind of go through showing you my process for that. I'm just gonna go ahead and start with being on top of this bookshelf since that's where they're gonna go. Tab into edit mode, select the face, hit Shift S, cursor to selected, that'll put the cursor there. When I now add a new object, it'll be added there. But I also found this cool new feature. I mean, it's been around forever, but I've just found it recently. If you hover over this part, it usually has a cube, but you can add any primitive shape. So now you can kind of just draw, and if I hold shift, it'll lock it. I can just draw a shape and then move up like that, and then makes a cylinder. So that's really super handy. And now let's make like this wine bottle shape. So I'm gonna make a loop cut somewhere like 3/4 of the way up. I'm gonna make another loop cut just to save that scale, and I'm gonna scale this S, Shift Z. That'll put everything, scale everything except from the Z axis. So now I kind of have that basic shape. Shrink this down a bit too. For the most part, that's the shape that we want. And now we just kind of have to bevel these edges. So I'm gonna select this edge, Control B. Oh, something's going on. I might have too many vertices or something. Let me see. Do I have a face in the middle? I do. There's a face here. I need to delete that face. Only face. Okay. When I beveled it, it didn't work, and that made me think that there was something going on. Now I can bevel this. Okay, that looks kind of nice. I might want to bring the bottom down a little bit. Want it to be a little bit taller. Just gonna bring that down like that. And I'm also gonna bevel it because it looks like it's a little bit rounded at the bottom. So let's bevel that as well. Control B, just give it a very subtle bevel. Also the cap, you can kind of see like it's like a plastic wrap around the like the lip of the bottle and everything in the cap. So let's imitate that. I also, looking at this, the neck is a lot longer. I think I'll just grab this and bring it up. Okay, so it's gonna have to, it goes up, it goes out, and goes up again, and then there's kind of like a rounded top. Let's do that. We're gonna go up and then up again, and then this part again, let's add like little support loops here. This part, I'm gonna scale on everything but Z axis. We get that little notch, and then this top face, I'm just gonna bevel. I'll do like that. And it looks like the same exact bottle, or I'm gonna assume it is. So let me shade smooth that, see how it looks. I might sharpen these edges here. See, mark sharp. Okay. I feel like it is a little bit too tall, so I'm gonna select this face and hit Control plus on my numpad to select the additional faces. Just bring that down a bit. And I may have to re-bevel this. Just bevel that once, just to get an extra loop cut. Then bringing it down. And then I'll bevel it. Just kind of eyeballing it, see what looks right. Okay, that looks cool. And I don't need those edges sharp, so I'm gonna clear sharp. Okay, cool. So that's one. I'm gonna hit Alt D and then move it on the Y axis to move it right next to it. These look a little bit big. Like if you look at how much space they take up on the shelf, they look just a little bit too big. So I'm just gonna scale them down like that. So now it looks like it's got like a yellow label from what I can see. So it's got like a yellow label and then like a white. It's like yellow, white. That's what I see. I see yellow, white, and it's probably the box, but then there's a greenish kind of label. So I'm gonna jump into Photoshop, I think, and just make a quick like strip of color. It looks like yellow, white, and then some kind of magenta color with like this barcode thing over top of it. So earlier when I was making this texture, I was using generative fill to just make like barcodes. Let's just make a new one. I'm gonna hide this, make a new layer, and I'm gonna do generative fill, just make it the barcode first. So barcode, okay. And I'm gonna duplicate that. So if we look back at the label, it's 2 barcodes, some text, and that can just be like lorem ipsum. I'm just gonna make some text, increase it a little bit. Okay, cool. And I'll just duplicate that, move it here. So all of this now can get merged. Merge layers. So that's our thing. I'm gonna scale it down. I'm gonna put a box around it. Box, put it on the layer beneath, just fill it with white. Okay, whoop. So it's kind of like this. It's kind of in the center. And I made some text earlier as well, which I think I'm just gonna reuse. I'm gonna just merge it. Yeah, so this was the text I made earlier. It's just white text, but I'm gonna hit Shift Control I to invert it. I'm gonna delete this and then just bring this text in here just to make it look like it's something. Just squish it. I'm not really seeing that here, but I'm assuming there's stuff like that there. So I'm just gonna fake it. All right, so we have our little label. Okay, and now we need basically we just need like a strip of color like this. We don't need it because we can always stretch it out on the y-axis when we do a UV map. So I'm gonna use just a solid round brush. I'm gonna pick yellow, kind of like that. And then I'm gonna pick like a pale white color, like an off yellow white color, because that's kind of what it looks like, maybe even something lighter. I'm just holding shift and dragging my mouse. And then I'm gonna pick like a dark kind of gray magenta color, because that's what it looks like. It's at the bottom, like a darker, like this. And I'm gonna just take a texture brush and just kind of like paint over it with like similar-ish, just give it some variety. Just kind of stamp around, give it some like, maybe use a smudge brush, just to give it some type of noise and like variety. And like, I don't know, this might not work out, but I think for just variety and adding like just something to the color for us to use will make the texture not look as like cartoonish and flat. Okay, so I'm gonna take some of this text here. I'm just gonna copy this text, gonna delete this barcode. And then in Photoshop, you can either use a layer adjustment to kind of like multiply to give it the text. You can do it another way, but I think this actually ended up working out pretty well. So I'm gonna keep this and I'll keep that there. I think that's it. I feel like I should use all of this extra space since it's gonna be here. So I'm gonna separate that out. And then I'm just gonna, let's see what generative fill comes up with. If I select this and generative fill just with nothing, let's see if it fills it in with just like more of the same, or if it tries to do something. Okay. There we go. That's cool. Maybe this? Nah, I like this. I like that it gave us a couple more like variety pieces. Yeah, and it kind of made it dirty, you see, because I added like, it's subtle, but it gave it a little bit of extra dirt because I painted that in earlier. So as much as I hate Adobe, generative fill is just kind of it's just kind of nice for doing stuff like this, like really simple textures, really just like throwing together stuff. It's really nice for this. All right, so let's keep that and let's take our barcode, or put it in the middle of this white part, and then we'll just like isolate that. So I don't think this is big. Yeah, it's pretty low poly. I might upscale it just a little bit. And then I'll apply like a sharpen to it. All right, so let's save this. Before I do that, let me make a green color for the top of this bottle. It's like a green and then a yellow. But I think that yellow, again, we can reference from this. So let me just make a green like right here, kind of like a forest green, kind of like this. So we have our basic flat colors. I'm gonna save this, and then we can bring it into Blender. So I'm gonna make a here called wine label. I'm gonna drag my image in. I'll open it up here. Okay. And let's make the little box part before we do anything else. So I'm gonna select all of these, bring the cursor over, and oh, I might be able to use this. If I do like yeah, and then bring it up. All right, cool. I like this. I like this new feature, or not. I call it a new feature. It's new to me. It's new to me. All right, so I'm gonna delete this, and so I want to keep this part. And that's actually a pretty good height, I think. Just gonna scale it in, kind of tuck it in a little bit more, like so. We don't need that. There's a bit of a cut in and then up, so it goes over just this right bottle, but it's not like on the edge. It's, yeah, you'll see. So I'm gonna bevel, move it over like this, scale it up a bit, and then I'm only gonna connect these two faces. So F to connect. I'm gonna hit E on the Z-axis, bring it up so it's above that bottle, and then we'll be able to delete these faces. Okay, cool. So then there's our thing. I'm just gonna give it a bit of depth. So I'm gonna add a solidify modifier, just a little bit. Yeah, okay. Even thickness. I think it still might be a little bit much. It's a subtle, I don't even know if it's necessary. Oh, we got the edge there. Because I was doing only faces, that's why it got saved. Okay. That's looking good. I'm just gonna go ahead and apply that. It's like really low poly, it's not gonna make a difference. And now we can take this and we can just do a, let's see if we do a cube projection. Okay, we kind of get exactly what we need. I think if we just kind of stick it like that, it might be all of it. We did not add the wine label here. There we go. So that's pretty close to what we have. We just need to adjust some of the scaling. I just hid those bottles. I'm gonna select all of these inside faces. I'm just gonna make them white. Okay, so I'm gonna do cube projection, scale it down. Just place it in the white area here. So that's gonna be where that lives. And then I'll just select these one by one and go with it. Ooh, let me add another loop cut here. Okay, so then they'll be like yellow, yellow. All of this will be yellow. Let's bring these up. Let's get the yellow in there. That's fine. I feel like that can be smaller. So let's do that. Let's make it smaller. This needs to be the full white spot here. That's fine. And then I just need to take this, Shift D, and just isolate that, make it its own layer. There we go. Just bring it really close, like that. Okay. Let's see if I can make it smaller, because we have Photoshop here. Like maybe like here. Fill all of this stuff in. Make it smaller. Oh. Okay. So then if we hop back into here. Oh no, we gotta relink it. All right, there we go. Cool, so that's our case. All right, so for the wine, I'm just gonna make a purple glass, wine glass, and that will be just like the glass surface. It's kind of like yeah, it's just a glass, like that. And I'm gonna go into the edit mode for this, and as I edit this, because it's a duplicate. It wasn't like Shift D duplicated, it was duplicated with Alt D, so it's like a copy. It'll just copy the textures. All right, so we want to grab this, Control plus, and assign that. I'm gonna do a cube projection. Yeah, so we only need this part. Nice. Oh, what's this? Why did that get separated? That's so weird. Oh, luckily it's like all part of the same piece. I think that might need some gloss. So this wine label, I'm gonna duplicate it. I'm gonna hit this double sign and just call it gloss. So then I can adjust the glossiness of it. So I can just bring down the roughness of it. And that'll look a little bit more glossy. And then it won't impact this because I duplicated it. And for this, I think I'm gonna use, yeah. Just gonna use the same color kind of like that. All right, so there you go. That's how I made that. Let me turn everything else back on. And the room is really coming together. I have this megaphone floating because I'm ripping the textures from it and using it in other stuff. So hopefully that wasn't too long of a video, and I hope that was enjoyable. I'll drop these textures in with this video if you want, so you can use them. Thanks guys, see you later.